be honest with you, I hate headphones, and the only reason why I did that was for the thumbnail. But in a world where technology feels ever more present with younger generations like mine, I feel more connected with the technology that your grandparents used when they were a kid or my grandparents did. And I think that analog technology is better for us, it's more healthy for us. But I'm going to get back to that later, and I'm going to get back to why I hate headphones, because I think that's really important. This analog to digital spectrum I made at school a little under a year ago. I was wanting to make a video about how analog devices are better for you, but I couldn't really find a good idea on how to explain it. But it suddenly came upon me in chemistry class actually to make a spectrum out of the idea. It was too good of an idea not to write down immediately, so I quickly grabbed a piece of paper and drew it. This is the original from school a year ago. As you can see, the new model has limited intelligence given and extensive intelligence given taped onto what used to be there, which was complete analog on the left and complete digital on the right. I made this change because I actually got a lot of good criticism on the spectrum from my original video that came out about it. It was actually my first video to get a decent amount of attention. I think I got maybe a couple thousand views, but before that I was getting 50 to 100 views if I was lucky. And then after that, I made a second sort of follow-up video where I explained how I bettered the spectrum based on the feedback I got. And this is sort of like a part 3 to that video where I'm explaining how I've applied the spectrum to my life and how it got better in that way, and how I think the spectrum can better your life too. So I want to explain how this spectrum works, because even though it's really simple, I think it'll help you understand my whole theory on the analog to digital spectrum and why analog's better. So if we dive right in, you can pretty much put any piece of technology, no matter how old or how new, on the spectrum. If it comes from sticks and stones all the way to the left, which is probably one of the first pieces of technology ever, to AI, which is brand new and still developing. So sticks and stones is all the way to the left, and AI is all the way to the right. AI is probably one of the most advanced pieces of technology. I think we could agree on that. And that's all the way to the right. So AI would fall under extensive intelligence given as the most intelligence given. And the sticks and stones would be the most limited in intelligence given. So this used to be complete analog, as sticks and stones would be complete analog, and then AI would be complete digital. So any piece of technology, any tool can be placed on the spectrum. And my theory, my belief is that this square, this red square right here where it says healthy, is what we could use to best thrive. And these are the healthiest pieces of technology. Anything that falls right in the middle of the spectrum. This is what I think is healthy, because it falls right in the middle of limited intelligence given and extensive. So this is a healthy balance, as if you could think of this as a seesaw, where in the middle here the seesaw is flat, because this is a healthy amount of intelligence given where you are not too much dependent on the piece of tech or too needy of that piece of tech as you with the AI, because the AI is giving you all the intelligence where you are just kind of sitting there and letting it run. Where on the other hand, sticks and stones, you are giving that piece of tech all the intelligence instead of receiving the intelligence, if that makes sense. So in the middle, it's a healthy balance of those two things. 50-50 would be right in the middle. 50% you're giving intelligence, 50% you're receiving intelligence. Because if you go too far this way, the seesaw tips and it's too much intelligence being given to you where you become too dependent on that piece of tech and you're sort of mind numbed by that piece of tech. Or if you're all the way to the left, there's too limited intelligence given and you're doing all the work without really accomplishing something or thriving with your tool. So at the beginning of the video, you heard me mention that I hate headphones, and I mention that because I think headphones or earbuds are a great example of a piece of tech that is too far right on the spectrum or too digital, where when you use it, you become too dependent on that piece of tech to be able to use it. And if you think about it, a lot of people are using headphones or earbuds to be able to focus or to accomplish their tasks. And you become too dependent on that piece of tech to be able to focus, where it's actually more hurting you than it is helping you because it's too far right and the seesaw tips. So if you want to listen to music or listen to podcasts or whatever, a better piece of tech or a better tool to do that would be in my opinion, a boombox or like a speaker or anything. And for me, because I hate headphones, what I use if I want to listen to music is a little Bluetooth speaker. Because instead of consuming your entire world and what you hear when you're listening to music or podcasts, a speaker just adds to it. So you're still hearing what's going around you, you're still hearing your environment. This is just adding to it instead of entirely consuming your sense of hearing. And we as humans, our two most important senses when we're just living our life and being in our environment is our seeing and hearing. So if you're using headphones, it's entirely consuming your hearing where you're sort of half-assing your life because you're consuming half of your most important sense. You're not entirely present in the world around you. So a boombox is more in the middle of the spectrum and is more healthy for you because it's just adding to your environment instead of entirely consuming it. So hopefully you got something out of that spectrum. Hopefully you can apply it to your life and maybe help you not go too far right or not go too far left, but be right in the middle.